Hello, welcome back to my channel and happy 2026. We have made it. I'm currently filming this on I think the 4th of January, so we're a couple of days into Jan now, but I just wanted to share what some of my creative goals and resolutions are going to be for 2026 and reflect a little bit on 2025 and how that looked like for me as an artist. So we will start with our reflections. I'll put them on the screen here. This is actually the second time I filmed this because the first time the lighting was horrible. I filmed it at night and it just wasn't it. So we're starting 2026 as we mean to go on, and we are doing it again. But honestly, when I first looked through my resolutions for last year, I kind of felt a bit like, oh, actually I don't think I achieved very much at all. Like, a lot of my resolutions were drawing loads and doing loads of national flower drawings and, being part of exhibitions and, other kind of stuff. To be fair, the exhibition one was the one that I did probably best at. But in that same vein, I just kind of was like, oh, I guess I didn't really do a lot of those. And yeah, I kind of felt a bit like, oh, that's kind of annoying because a lot of them are still things I'd like to do, but just things that I last year did not get time to do at all. I think for me, the pace at work just picked up in an exponential way that I couldn't have really predicted. And then it kind of just meant that my free time whittled away from me. And I think as well, last year we were like, we'll finish the flat, and we obviously didn't. We did not finish the flat. I'm not sitting in a finished flat, so no surprise to no one there really, but kind of a mixed bag really when I kind of look back on 2025. But I think some things that were really cool that I enjoyed. I had my work up in Totterdown Canteen in Bristol, which is like a little cafe. He does a rotation of artists and I love that cafe, so it was really nice to have my work up there. I also have my work up at Omni Studio, which is a yoga studio in Weston-super-Mare, and yeah, so those two were really cool. I really enjoyed those. Some of the work that I did manage, particularly towards the end of the year, I was really, really proud of. You've not seen it yet, but the work that I sort of finished at the end of the year last year, I just felt like it had more painterliness to it, and so I'm really excited to go into 2026 kind of trying to channel much more of a painterly style, particularly in my digital work but also in other things, but that will come up. I'll explain later. But I also wanted to share that I made a 2026 bingo card. So I didn't actually anticipate on making one of these. At New Year's we have a family gathering, and this was one of the activities from my boyfriend's sister. So these are kind of combined goals with me and Dan. He's going to phone his little sister every day. We want to run 5k, go on a sunny holiday, keep our duo streak. I want to learn to oil paint, and we go finish the flat this year it's in the cards, I'm sure of it. So yeah, it's kind of a more general art kind of goals, but I really enjoyed the process. And they made the mistake of giving this to someone who likes art because everyone sort of finished within 45 minutes. 3 hours later I was still there drawing this. It was nice to kind of think about, okay, well, what are the main points of 2026, what are our main goals for the year? So I really enjoyed that, and I would recommend, and I can sort of reflect next year and go, did we manage this? Because sometimes I feel like you make goals and they just go off into the ether and you never look at them again, whereas this I can hang in here and I could be like, hopefully we do those things. That's quite a fun thing to do if you haven't already. It's never too late. I think the whole month of January is for planning and resetting for the next year, not just the first 3 days, because planning your year takes time. So that's my bingo card, and I'd recommend making one if you haven't already. Okay, so looking forward to 2026, I've decided this year to kind of break down my goals and create a little chart to help keep myself clear about what my goals were and how I'm going to achieve them. I think I am, I try to make achievable goals always, but I do think having some sort of step-by-step does really help. So I've got 3 main categories this year. So my first category is called Painterly Practice, and this includes digital art and oil painting. So I want to learn to oil paint this year, so that's one of my goals. I want to get better at proportions, so I often rely on the grid method, or it takes me a long time to get the proportions right, or I just avoid them and trace. So I want to get a bit better at that, something I want to focus on this year. And then I want to make my digital art look more painterly. I definitely was getting there towards the end of last year. I think when I started digital painting, it started out very textured and painterly and that kind of thing, and then I discovered all the blending brushes and it got smoother and smoother and smoother and smoother that until everything I was painting just looked kind of airbrushed and it looked very digital. And then I'm kind of going back towards maybe not quite as like lumpy as it looked when I first started digital painting, but definitely more textured, more, you know, I want to look at my digital work and be like, is that digital, or is it, you know, an oil painting? So that's kind of like my 3 overarching goals. And then within that I've got like subcategories. So I would like to get to 1 hour creative time every day by the end of 2026. So I'm going to start off by doing January 5 minutes, February 10 minutes a day, March 15, April 20, May 25, all the way up to hopefully 60 minutes a day. We'll see. And I'd like to do 150 sessions of 5-minute proportion practice, again to help get my proportions better. And I do have a sketch every day for a year book, so maybe that will help me with that proportion practice. But yeah, so complete 6 oil paintings and then complete 6 digital paintings and 3 of those national flower prompts. So I want to do basically a painting a month, so alternately digital, oil, digital, oil, digital, oil. That's basically my like painting-y, arty goals. My creative side quests goal, I'd like to share more 3D printing. 3D printing is I've got a 3D printer. 3D printing is one of my like hobbies that I really enjoy. I like 3D modelling. I currently use Onshape. I'm looking to learn to use Fusion. So I'd like to document a little bit of that process. Complete my sewing bingo card. So I have set out a plan for the year of different things that I want to make during the year. I would say like half of them are set, like things I really do want to make, and then the other half are a bit more flexible. And then lastly, I have a laser cutter, a mini one, and regretfully I've not done anything with it. I've had it for about a year, I think, and I've not got it like up and running, and I would like this year to be the year because I really want to become insufferable at lasering and just laser all the time. So yeah, that is another one of my goals. Finally, building my dream studio. So we are in my lounge right now, but my lounge will also be my studio space. And so there's kind of 3 prongs to finishing this room. Number 1 is kind of like doing the snag list for this room, finishing off this room, painting cabinet doors, adding any filler that needs to be added, like touching up any paint, adding skirting board, like that kind of stuff. Prong 2 is organising all of the storage that's in this room. We've purposely built this room with so much storage, and it's probably the most storage I've ever had for my craft stuff, but trying to move all my stuff from the bedroom or from wherever, it's kind of ended up just like shoved in cupboards for now. So I really would like to go through every cupboard and properly organise my space so that I know exactly what I've got and where I've got it. And then lastly, to finish this space in this room, I'd love to build myself some sort of desk. I do still want the desk to like fold away. I do have an idea in mind, and I would like to use my armchair as like my office chair because it's very comfortable. So yeah, hopefully I can have this space finally finished. It's been years. Hopefully that will be the case. Those are my main creative goals in terms of 2026. I think I want to move away from just being, you know, artist Emily, because I think the reality is I am a very multi-passionate person. And because my like social media over the last couple of years has been so focused on art and sharing my art and that kind of thing, it's meant I've neglected a lot of my other like interests. You know, I think particularly, for example, sewing for me is a really big one for this year. I really want to get back into sewing. At the end of last year, I tried to make a suit for my boyfriend. The fabric I picked was too thick, and you know, I had this problem, X problem, and I think it kind of just highlighted to me that I'm out of practice. I think, you know, that is because I have dedicated so much time to my art that I've become out of practice in like my sewing, or you know, and also up until now I've not really had the space to sew because we've been renovating, everything's been kind of dirty. So yeah, I'm really keen to get back on my sort of like sewing wagon. Going into 2026, expect more art, expect more painting, expect more sewing, more modelling, more DIY as well. Hopefully this will be the year we finish the flat, like I said. So yeah, I hope. Oh, I also have my 2026 vision board shared. So I put that over here, and I just kind of, it's not really very specific. I've never really made a vision board before, so maybe I've done it wrong, but it kind of just includes some of my goals, kind of like wider vibe, some of the clothing I like the look of, some of, you know, for the sand, so I want to go on holiday, some of the art I want to make. There's some pictures of some paintbrushes to symbolise like learning to paint. There is an iPad for digital drawing, so it's just kind of like a general vibe for the year. But it was really nice to kind of think about like, what is my vibe gonna look like this year, and what energy do I want to bring to the table. So that was my 2025 reflections and 2026 goals going forward. I'd love to know what your goals for 2026 2026. What sort of creative quests do you have for the year going forwards? And if any of what I've shown you today sounds interesting, then you should stick around, because hopefully there will be a long form video every 2 weeks. That's my plan, one of my other goals, I guess. So yeah, hopefully I'll see you in a couple of weeks, and until then, have a lovely planning, nesting January, and I will see you next time.